Hi students, I am Ajaz Ahmed from Business School, and today we'll be talking about Johnson's sequencing model. It's used in OR and it's actually beneficial for the students of Business School and Mechanical Engineering and Civil Engineering as well. So let's straight away go to the problem and we'll see what this problem is all about and how we'll solve this problem. Look at the problem. We have jobs, we have J1, J2, J3, J4 and J5. Okay, we have two machines, machine 1 and machine 2. All these jobs have to undergo through these two machines, where first the work will be done on machine 1 and secondly the work will be done by machine 2. Before we proceed, one thing comes to our mind, that we want to complete all these jobs at minimum possible time. Let's say these times like 10, 12, 8, 14, these times are in terms of hours. So for example, J1 is a job and it takes 10 hours in machine 1 and on machine 2 it takes 12 hours to complete the job. We would like to complete all these jobs at minimum possible time, because time is money. We'll have to save time. The first step to do so is to identify the optimal sequence. How are we going to identify the sequence? Then we'll talk about different types of times that we have to calculate and we have to complete, will take to complete all the job. How this process is actually being done? First of all, we have 5 jobs. We'll have a sequence or optimal sequence and the process that we have to follow is like this. Out of all these times, we'll have to identify the lowest time. Out of all these times, we'll have to identify the lowest time and then I'll tell you what to do. So lowest time here is 7. Lowest time out of all these times is 7. If this 7 is from machine 1, then the job goes to left extreme. On the other hand, if this lowest time was from machine 2, this job goes to right extreme. Like we can see, this 7 is actually from machine 1, so we'll go to left extreme. So first we'll take J4. Done. This job is done. Next, look at for another time which is now lowest available time. So now we have lowest available time 8. This 8 is again from machine 1. So this job will again come to left extreme. So it will come here. That is J2. J2 is gone. Now we'll have to see from remaining times which is the lowest time. Remaining times are 10, 12, 10 and 9. This 9 is the lowest time. Again this time is from machine 1. So now we'll write J5. This job is also gone. Now we are left with 10, 12, 12, 10. So lowest, but of course, is 10. But this 10 is 2 times. So this 10 is for machine 1 and this 10 is for machine 2 as well. So will not be affected if we'll take either of 10, because this 10 is from machine 1 and this 10 is from machine 2. One will go to extreme right and the other will go to extreme left position which is available. Let's take this 10, J3. J3 is from machine 2. So this job will go to right extreme. So we'll have to write J3 here. Gone. Now there is only one job left, that is from machine 1. The lowest time is from machine 1, so we'll have to write J1 here. So we have found the optimal sequence. The optimal sequence to complete all these jobs is that we'll take job 4 first, then we'll take job 2, then we'll take job 5, then we'll take job 1, and then we'll take job 3. So now after we have found the optimal sequence, we'll go to the elapsed time. We'll calculate the different times the jobs will be completed. Once we have found our optimal sequence, now we'll go to calculation of total elapsed time. Calculation of elapsed time. We'll take jobs. We'll take machine 1 in and out. Then we'll take machine 2 in and out. Then we'll take idle time for M2. After we have done this, we'll have to write the sequence of jobs as per the optimal sequence. So that is J4, then J2, then J5, then J1 and J3. This is our sequence. Let's talk about machine first. First we are taking J4. The moment J4 comes to the machine first, the end time is 0. No time has left, no time has been consumed when we are taking job 4. So job 4 first, job 4, it takes 7 hours to complete. So it will be out at 7. Now we are taking job second. Job second will be taken at 7 because machine 1 was occupied to complete the job 4 till now. So it will be, job 2 will be taken at 7 and job 2 takes 8 hours to complete. So 7 plus 8 becomes 15. At 15, J2 will be completed. Now at 15, we'll take J5. J5 takes 9 hours to complete. So 15 plus 9 becomes 24. So at 24, we'll take job 1. 24. At 24, we are taking job 1, which is taking 10 minutes. So, 10 hours. That will be 34. At 34, we'll take J3. J3 takes 12 hours. 34 plus 12 becomes 46. So at 46, all the jobs will be completed by machine first. Now we'll talk about machine second. In machine second, we'll have to take job 4 first. When will be taken job 4 by machine 2? It will not be taken before this 7, because before that the job 4 was with machine first. Machine first completed job 4 at 7. So at 7, this will be taken by machine 2. At 7, J4 has been taken by machine 2 and it takes 8 hours to complete this job. So 7 plus 8 becomes 15. At 15, machine 2 is available. Can we take job 2 at 15? Yes, we can take, because at 15 job 2 is completed by machine first as well. So we'll take job second, and job second on machine 2 takes 14 hours. So 15 plus this 14 hours becomes 29. At 29, can we take job 5? Yes, job 5 is waiting because it has been completed by machine 1 at 24 hours only. So at 29 we can take, on 29 we have taken job 5. We have taken job 5 which takes 12 hours on machine 2. So 29 plus this 12, that becomes 41. 29 plus 12 becomes 41. Can we take job 1 at 41? Yes, it is already available from 34 itself. So we'll take job 1 at 41 and it takes again 12 hours to complete it. That becomes 53. At 53, job 3 is already available. So we'll take job 3 and job 3 takes 10 hours on machine 2. So all jobs will be completed at 63. This completes our total elapsed time. It means all these jobs will be completed in 63 hours. We can write here, just a moment. We can write total elapsed time to complete all these jobs is equal to 63 hours. Done. Now let's talk about idle time for machine 2. Machine 2 was idle for first 7 hours because it could not take any job unless and until job 4 was completed on machine first. So it is 7 here. Then at 15 it got rid of job 4 and it took on 15 itself, it took job 2. So there is no idle time. 29, again it took next job on 29, no idle time. Completed on 41 and next job was taken on 41, no idle time. 53 and 53, again no idle time. So total idle time for machine 2, total idle time for M2 is 7 hours. Now there is a question, what is the idle time for machine 1? If we see, machine 1 was never idle during the process. It took the first job on 0, completed on 7, took next job on 7, completed on 15, took next job on 15, completed on 24. It was never idle during the process. But yes, it has idle time as well. What is the idle time? Total time taken to complete the system is 63. But machine 1 was idle from 46 onwards. So total idle time for machine 1 is equal to, that is 63 minus 46. That would be 7 and 17 hours. So this was all about when we have 2 machines. What if we have 3 machines? Let's talk about Johnson's sequencing model when we have 3 machines and n jobs. What to do? There is a problem, that is, how can we find the optimal sequence? We just completed optimal sequence for 2 machines and we could see that was 2-dimensional. Either we have to go for left extreme or we will have to go for right extreme. But what if we have 3 machines? So Johnson came up with one condition, if that there are actually 2 tests, if either of tests or both the tests are satisfied, we can actually proceed with the Johnson's method that we are going to discuss now. What are those tests? We'll have to first of all find min of machine 1. What is the min of machine 1? Minimum time of machine 1, that's 7, is equal to 7. Now we'll have to talk about max of machine 2. Max of machine 2. Max of machine 2 is 8. Okay, now we'll have to talk about min of machine 3. Min of machine 3, that is 9. What are the tests now? Either max of M2 has to be less or equal to min of machine 1. Either this test has to be fulfilled, or max of M2 has to be less or equal to min of machine 3. If either or both the tests are completed or satisfied, we can move and we can solve this problem. Let's see. Max of machine 2, that's 8. That's 8. Has to be less or equal to min of machine 1. Min of machine 1, that is 7. Is this correct? 8 is less or equal to 7? No. So this test is not satisfied. Let's move to next test. Max of machine 2, that's 8, has to be less or equal to min of machine 3, that is 9. Is this statement correct? 8 is less or equal to 9? Yes, it's correct. So it has satisfied at least one of the conditions. Now we can proceed with the Johnson's method that has been given by Johnson. Let me first of all rub this. Okay, what are we supposed to do now is that now we'll come up with this thing, that is we'll take MA, machine A, is equal to machine 1 plus machine 2, and MB is equal to machine 2 plus machine 3. So again we'll write jobs J1, J2, J3, J4, J5. Now machine A, then machine B, machine A is machine 1 plus machine 2, that is 10 plus 4, that becomes 14. This is 8 plus 8, that becomes 16. That is 7 plus 7, that becomes 14. Then 15 plus 6, I think that's 21. That is 10 plus 5, that is 15. Done. Machine B, that is machine 2 plus machine 3, 4 plus 9, that becomes 13. 8 plus 12, 20. 7 plus 14, 21. 6 plus 10, 16. And 5 plus 9, that is 14. Now we have turned 3 machines to 2 machines. It's now easy to find the optimal sequence with the same method we did previously. That is, we'll see optimal sequence like this. We have 5 jobs. We'll have to find the lowest time from entire matrix. That is, I think, 13. 13 is the lowest time, and that's from machine B. So this will go to right extreme, that is J1 will be here. This job will be gone. Now we'll have to find the lowest time from remaining times, that is 14. Now if we see 14 is 2 times. This 14 is from machine A. It will go to left extreme. So J3 will be here. This 14, this job is gone. Again, this job, J5, it is from machine 2. It will go to right extreme, that is J5. This job gone. Now we are left with 16, 20, 21 and 16. Again, we have 16 from 2 different machines. We'll take this 16, for instance. This is from machine A. It will go to left extreme. So job 2 will be here. This is gone. And ultimately for this 16, it is J4. So all we have found the optimal sequence to complete all these jobs. But of course, you'll have to understand this thing. We did all this thing. Machine A is equal to machine 1 plus machine 2 just to arrive at optimal sequence. Now once we have found our optimal sequence, we'll have to go back to our original question. That is, we have 3 machines. Done. So we'll note down only our optimal sequence, that is J3, J2, J4, J5 and J1. I'll rub up this area because now this area is not needed. I'll straight go for elapsed calculation of elapsed time. So we have jobs. We have machine 1 in, out. Then we have machine 2 in, out. Then we have machine 3 in, out. Then we have idle time for M2. Why we are not writing M1? We know, we have already discussed it, that machine 1 has idle time, that is actually system idle time. We'll calculate it. We don't need to put it in table. We'll calculate it at the end. And we have idle time for M3. Now the optimal sequence is J3, J2, J4, J5, J1. Let's take J3. J3 will come at 0 and it takes 7 hours. It will be completed at 7. We'll take J2 at 7. It will be completed in 8 hours. 7 plus 8 is 15. Then we'll take J4. It takes 15 hours, that is 30. We'll take J5. J5 10 hours. It will be completed at 40. And then we'll take finally J1, which takes 10 hours. It will be completed at 50. Now move to machine 2. For machine 2, we'll take J3 at 7 because it becomes available at 7. Now we'll have to take these times. For J3, it is 7 again, that is 14. At 14, we should actually take J2. But we cannot take J2 because J2 is still in process. It will be completed at 15. So we'll be forced to take J2 here at 15. Okay. Now at 15 we have taken J2. It takes 8 hours. 15 plus 8 is 23. So we'll take now this job J4. We should have taken this job at 23, but it is still under process. So we are forced to take it at 30. 30 J4, 6 hours. It will be completed in 36. At 36, this job is not available yet. We'll have to take it at 40. Then J5 takes 5 hours, so it will be completed at 45. At 45 we should have taken job first, but it will be available only at 50. So we'll take J1 at 50. It takes 4 hours, that becomes 54. Now let's talk about machine 2, machine 3. Machine 3, job 3 will be taken at 14. Job 3, 14. It takes 14 hours to complete it. That is 14 plus 14 is 28. At 28, is this job available? Yes, it is available from 23 hours onwards. So we'll take at 28. J2 at 28, it takes 12 hours. That becomes 40. At 40, can we take this job? Yes. We have taken this just J4, it takes 10 hours. That becomes 50. At 50, we can take J5. We have taken J5, it takes 9 hours to complete it. That becomes 59. At 59, this job is already available. So at 59, we'll take J1 job first, and it will be completed in 9 hours. That becomes 68. Done. All these jobs will be completed in 68 hours. Let me quickly calculate idle time first. This is idle time for machine 2, that is this machine. Idle time here is 7. Then 14, it was available, but we have taken next job at 15. So it will be 1 here. Then 23rd, at 23rd this was available, next job was taken at 30, so 7 again. 36, next job was taken at 40, so there is idle time of 4. At 45, this was completed, but next job was taken at 50, so that is next job was taken at 50, that is 5. Let's talk about idle time for machine 3. For machine 3, the initial idle time is 14. Then 28, next job was taken at 28, it's 0. 40, 0. 50, next job was taken at 50, 0. 59 and 59, that is 0. Let me write it here. Total elapsed time to complete all the jobs is 68 hours. Idle time for machine 1. Machine 1 completed all the jobs at 50, but all the jobs were completed by the system at 8. So it will be 68 minus 50, that is 18 hours. Idle time for machine 2 is equal to, that is machine 2. First of all, it took 7 plus 1, 8 plus 7, that is 15, plus 4, 19, plus 5, that is 24. 24, and then the jobs were completed on 54, but system completed all the jobs on 68. So idle time for machine 2 is this 24 plus, एक तो ये 24 आएगा, प्लस क्या आएगा 68 minus 54, that will be equal to 24 plus 14, 24 plus 14, that is 38. Okay, then lastly, idle time for machine 3 is equal to This is 14 hours. So this completed our question when we have 3 jobs in sequencing. Thanks for watching this lecture. We'll see you next time. Thank you.